Alright guys, these puppies are 15 days old. And things are getting interesting because not only are their eyes open, but they seem to be aware of their surroundings now. Yeah, hello. How are you? Oh, I think this one's hungry. Yeah, I think this one's hungry. Alright, yeah. So they're like, should I really trust you? This is like the perfect age to imprint, I think, because this is the first time they're actually, to me, it seems like the first time they're actually aware of me and looking at me like straight in the eyes. Because before it was like, they were just kind of, their eyes were open, but they're kind of oblivious. Oh look, it's one licky licky, huh? Licky licky, yeah. Just trying to nurse, yeah. Mama's over there eating her dry food. She just ate a ton of canned food. I try to keep that. She's actually in really good condition. And this year I changed it up a little, so I give her a ton of canned food twice a day. And as much dry as she can eat, and she's really been pounding down the food and doing really well as far as her body condition, which is good because last year she was just skin and bones. And so I think keeping the dry food with her is really kind of the trick. They still have the funny pug nose baby face. They eventually lose it. That one sounds like a Tribble from Star Trek. Oh my goodness. Oh, poor puppy, huh? There's so much going on with 7 dogs. I can hardly keep up. Yeah. So I actually turned this air conditioner down a little bit because it's been a little hot. I turned it down from 78, or from 80 to 78. And I came in this morning and the air conditioner was running and the heater was running. So I turned the heater down to 76 and the AC down to 78. So, and that seems to be a pretty good balance. Seems like there needs to be at least a 2-degree difference between them. Oh, look at Mama. She's so happy. Maybe we can get the ones that were crying and have them nurse. Have them nurse. Let's see. They know where to go, huh? They know where to go. Now that their eyes are open, I don't have to help them. They're just walking right over. They can see where they need to go. Well, this is a first. Actually, that kind of helps me out because then the hungry ones will head that way, and the ones that are content will just kind of hang out and sleep here. Oh, look at that. We have walking puppies for the first time. Almost walking. Yeah. That's great. Alright, so it's been about 12 hours since we pinned up Iris here with her new baby. And here she is. It looks like she's doing great. The baby's up on all fours. And it looks like she dropped her afterbirth, which is good. If that actually stays inside of her, it could be a problem. So I'm actually going to open up this panel and let her out. So here's Iris's new baby. And I didn't really have much time to interact, so he's kind of spooked to me a little bit. Usually I stay up here for I think he's figured out how to nurse, because when I first came in here his mouth was all white with milk, so I'm not really worried about trying to make them nurse at this point. So, and you can always tell when they kind of pee in the middle. It's definitely a boy. Yeah, so yeah, he's already browning up. It's amazing. He pretty much will stay browner than the rest of the cows because he's only half Angus and half Jersey. But he's a good-looking cow. It's amazing. Only 12 hours old, and they're up and running around and checking stuff out. It's kind of, especially after 2 weeks of the puppies where they can't even stand. It just kind of blows me away. Yeah, I had to direct him to the right spot, and he figured it out. I just wanted to make doubly sure this morning that that calf was actually nursing. Yeah, I think at some point I'm gonna try to get, once he's nursing really good, I'll try to get all the calves on Iris, because she's got enough milk for multiple calves, and she really needs to be drained a lot because she was getting a little mastitis last year in this rear corner, and I think it's just from not being emptied enough. And that's basically just a little irritation from not draining it quite enough. So this year I'm going to get all the calves on her. Last year at the end she had 4 calves on her, or 3 calves on her. Every now and then, not all the time, but looks like they're doing great. This little guy can hardly walk. So I came out here checking on the cows this morning, and Iris's little baby was on the wrong side of the fence. This is pretty funny though. Iris is laying down. Baby can still nurse. That's pretty hilarious. So I basically took down all the panels, and she had a bunch of grain. She wasn't eating. I don't know if she's feeling very well after having that baby, but she stopped eating her grain, and I took the panels down, and all the cows come running, and they're all after the leftover grain in there. There's probably 10 pounds of grain. So now that everyone's had their baby, and Iris's calf is about 1.5 days old, so he knows who Mama is. So I'm just gonna run everyone all together. So right now we have 3 calves on the ground. Whew. Yeah, this is the oldest one here. It's the friendliest one. Whew. So now that I'm rearranging everything, so I have these extra little metal stock tanks, and I actually started out with these small ones, and I found out that if I leave them in here, these bulls, they will totally destroy these metal stock tanks. They'll just crush them like they're paper. So we definitely need to get these out of here. They're good for moms with calves, but not very compatible around these big bulls. So Iris is up and about. I think it helps to have her back in the herd, and I'm sure once her baby starts running around, she'll be chasing that baby too. Everyone's kind of coming in and cleaning up after Iris. She left all this hay and the grain. I think she just had a really hard birth. I think she's in a lot of pain. It's hard to tell if a cow's in pain because they really don't say anything. They don't really make any noises. Alright guys, so here's the puppies at 16 days old. Yeah, they are really getting big. I piled them all up on Mama. And they're starting to walk pretty good. Not too bad. Boy. Yeah. Can't really see them walk too much over here, but we'll see. I came in the other day and one of them looked right at me and growled. I think it's the first time he actually recognized me. Oh, Mama's coming for the one. Leaving the many to find the one. That's pretty funny. But they're all kind of halfway walk. Yeah. Kind of, sort of. Well, that threw him off. Alright. Yeah, almost to the point where they can walk, kind of, sort of. It's like they're walking on the moon, doing the moonwalk. Yeah. That's pretty funny. He can stand pretty good, just can't quite walk very good. Definitely can't run. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There's a lot going on. There goes Mama. There's one. I call him Growler because he always growls. I don't know why, he's a big growler. And this one's a little crybaby. Wow, where's Mama, huh? Where's Mama? Poor baby. Which one's Growler? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So here's a quick update from the barnyard. So Iris here, my Jersey milk cow, had a calf 2 days ago, and she is really in pain. She can hardly move, and I think her bag is really it's kind of having a hard time. It's really red and kind of lopsided, but at least she's up and walking around. So I actually stopped feeding her grain, and this is our baby here. It's hard to believe that thing's 2 days old. Right next to Mama. So I actually, you know, they say you should milk Jersey cow, you know, by hand to kind of milk her out, and I haven't actually done that on any of her babies. So I actually ordered a milk machine, and it should be here in about a week. So I'm hoping that, I try to milk her by hand, but she like holds up her milk, and I'm hoping that with the milk machine on all 4 udders, maybe if I can run her baby in there too, maybe she'll she'll actually let down and the machine can milk her out. And maybe once a day I can totally milk her out. I think that would really help her out. But she is really struggling, and they say on the milk cow, if they have the calf and they actually don't get up and don't stand up and walk around, that's when you really have a problem. So far she's walking and getting around a little bit, but I could tell she's really hurting, and at this point there's not a whole lot I can do except keep her off the grain, because the grain basically converts totally to milk. So still get a little bit skinny, but I think without the grain she'll thin out, and I think she'll do pretty good. So we have this little baby here, and let's see what else we have besides this big old bull here. We have this little baby who's not so little anymore. What are you, 6 or 7 weeks old? And this one's the friendliest. This is my first one, and I really tamed him down. So the other ones aren't really that friendly. And I'm kind of working on cleaning out the mess from Iris, and I'm going to put in some new straw. And let's see, we have one more baby over here. So we have 3 calves on the ground, and this is Katesh's. This is Katesh, she's the mom, and this is her little baby. I think this is actually one of the smallest babies, and she's pretty friendly. Iris is probably the most skittish, I'd say. But this little girl, so that's a girl. Actually, I have 2 girls now, and Iris just laid down. And Iris is a boy. So Iris actually had a bull calf last year. And usually what I do is I bring him to the vet to get him castrated. It's just easier to have someone that's a professional to help me do something like that. And, I'm not quite to the point where I want to start cutting down there myself. But that's pretty much it. I wish Iris would just let me milk her out. I think that's what she really needs, is to be milked out. But I think she might have pulled a muscle or something too when she was calving, because I've never seen her in this rough of a shape. Poor girl. That is one big bull. This bull's about 3 years old, I'd say. He's really big. I got some fresh straw in here, and Iris is up, making her way over. Slowly. You can tell she's having a hard time walking. It's definitely more than her bag, I think. And then over here I put some fresh fly paper. I haven't replaced this in a while, but I have noticed quite a few flies out here. So I basically just hang 10 strips out. I usually replace them like once a week or something like this. And this girl, she's probably going to have a baby next. This is Hathor, one of my oldest cows. She really throws some good calves. I think she's a really good looking Angus face. Yeah, she's usually pretty pushy, but now that she's big and fat and pregnant, she's not that pushy. These bulls are pretty funny. Look at how big that guy is. Wow. He is a beast. Look at how fat he's getting on that alfalfa too. Whew. The alfalfa really fattens him up. Here comes a little baby. Iris is making her way to the fresh straw. The problem with the alfalfa is it comes out really runny. It really makes a mess. But Actually, I think after this I'm going back to straight grass because it's kind of a mess, but I think Iris is ready to bed down for the night. So I think we're going to call it a day here with these cattle and get on to bigger and better things. So I've kind of been having a problem with this ball python egg incubator. So it says the probe now is 94 degrees, and it actually got up to 95 and it started alarming. And I think it's just because it's been getting a little warm in the basement here, and I think it really needs to be cooler than it is. It definitely isn't in the 90s in here. It's probably, maybe gets up to 80, and I think that controller still has a hard time keeping up with, you know, if it doesn't have a big differential. And I still have quite a few ball pythons. I was just kind of peeking at some of these, and these eggs are doing really well. So I have eggs there, and I noticed in this one, if you can see, there's actually a bad one. But I'm thinking of just kind of leaving that and seeing if it actually develops. And they're kind of in the vermiculite and separated. I got a bunch up here and here and here. And let's see, those two are empty. So this one's actually going to hatch here in a few days. And then a few days after that, this one will hatch. And then I have some here and some here and some here. And then I have 4 empty tubs down here. So I have quite a bit. Actually, most of these I think are going to hatch in July. So, and there's really not a whole lot coming out anymore. So there's kind of a lull in what's kind of going on. So I think Lucy's asleep right now, but this week she kind of had a problem with her mouth. Apparently she got really hungry and really kind of messed up her mouth. It was almost bleeding a little bit, and I think she was just a bit too hungry because she actually ate like 5 rats all in a row before she could finally calm down. Big rats. And I think I just need to keep an eye on her if she starts pushing on the sides of the tub, to just really give her a few rats to calm her down. This is the first time she really kind of messed up her mouth from pushing. And I think it was just because she was hungry. So here's an update on my snake room. So I kind of rearranged things just a little bit. So basically what I did is I got rid of the shelf in the back because it was actually stuck back here and all my supplies. I moved it out into another room and actually kind of angled this so I can get back here and kind of service my air cleaner and heater, which makes things easier. And then my new hatchling rack, I figured I could actually push it way back in the corner. It's just on wheels, it'll slide right out. And since I don't really have any hatchlings on it, it really opens up the room, and I can work a lot better in here with the extra room. And then it's interesting, ever since I switched to this pine kind of a pine flake for these rats, they tend to kind of push it out, especially the mice, and it kind of gets all over, and I have to get in here and vacuum quite a bit. But as far as my hatchlings, the hatchlings are doing really well. So my first 2 clutches up here, almost all of them have eaten. There's a couple. I'm thinking I might have to assist feed some of these guys because it's been a little while, and this one hasn't eaten. I have another one up there that hasn't eaten. But a lot of these, they've eaten like 3 meals. So this little coral glow, 50% het pine, possible pastel, male, of course. All my coral glows are male. Some of those guys have eaten like 3 meals, so I got the little clips for the number of meals that they've eaten up here. And then further on down, some of the latest ones, some of them have shed out, some of them haven't shed. And you can kind of tell I need to go through and clean some tubs. And yeah, most of these haven't even shed yet. But some of these, even up here, these higher ones, so like this guy is shed, but he's still not eaten. This is a nice pastel pinstripe scaleless head. Looking really good after the shed. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just, I got a little pinky rat actually in this tub right now. And I'm just kind of moving 2 little pinky rats from tub to tub, and I'll leave them for a little bit, and then if they don't eat them, I'll move them to the next and next. And then when I get to the bottom, so these guys haven't eaten the pinky rats, so I'm just kind of moving them down. Once they pretty much get to the bottom, I'll move them up to the top, and those guys almost for sure will eat it. So that's kind of my setup for my hatchlings. It's working pretty well, and probably don't even have to attempt to feed some of these lower ones because they haven't even shed out yet. So still have room for more, and I'm hoping the next big thing that happens is the egg cutting. That's probably the next thing that's gonna happen here pretty soon.